Welcome and welcome back to Laura's Design Studio. What we are doing today is working with little windows, and I went on to Pinterest last night and I was looking at like 2026 trends, and in the jewelry industry it seems like chunky rings, bezel pendants, minimalist stuff. As far as stones, it looks like emeralds are going to be popular, sapphires, but not typical blue sapphires, the peach, the lavender, and the green sapphires, rubies, the dark ruby, and aquamarine. So why not let's try and make some of those. So we're going to be working with little windows, brilliant resin, part A, part B. It is a 2-to-1. I mixed up 60 milliliters. I also have cut up a bunch of film, which this is also little windows, and it is their resin color film. I've taken out a few colors and cut them up, and also the dichroic film, and I did the same with that. We're also going to be working with her rainbow color set, which is Marabou, and this is how she has a couple of sets. This is one set, and then this is another set of her Sparkle and Shine. So we're going to be working with the rainbow color set. Now, she sells Marabou inks cheaper than Amazon even. And with hers, in her sets, you always get the large thumbtacks to make your holes. So we have those. I haven't opened these yet, so we'll be opening them. And we're going to be working with her small, this is the small, what does she call it? Hold on. Small silicone mold set. So let's start. What I'm going to do is take out a few colors here. This is a blue. This is green. It's apple. Here's a Caribbean blue. We have amethyst. Sunshine yellow. Red orange. Cherry red. And magenta. So I don't know how many of these we're going to use, but we'll just play it by ear, because I'm going to do some film and I'm going to do some of these alcohol inks. So let's start off with some film, since I have a bunch of it cut up in this cup. This stuff is very staticky, so the easiest way I have found is to give it a little spray of alcohol, and it's not so fly away and staticky. Let's start right on top here. I see a bunch of the blue that I have cut up, so let's take some of those out. Like I said, I put alcohol in there so they're a little bit easier to manage. This is just going to be a one that has a bunch of like little extra pieces that I cut. I'm just going to put them in there. All of her molds come with templates, and I'll show you what it looks like. So you can cut out your shapes. It labels them for which ones. Also, another thing she did, super smart, is once your pendant or whatever you're working on is done, you can place it here and it shows you the exact center points for drilling. So very, 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 very helpful. And she has that with all of her molds. So like I said, we have 60 milliliters of the brilliant resin, and we're just going to pour some of that in. And I want to make sure that that film has resin all over it. Her molds are super, super shiny, and they come out very nice. So there's that one. We'll see what that looks like. Now I am going to pour some resin first, and then we're going to set some film on top of this. So again, I'm going to take out just some random pieces in here. I have not only I have textured film in here. That's the dichroic texture film. We're gonna I'm gonna put some blue in there also. Just to give it a different look. Like I said, these are staticky, so that piece is long. Okay, where did it go? It's stuck to something somewhere. I'll find it. It's probably on me. I don't see it at the moment, but okay. That's a separate one. Oh, not old. Static. The way her corners, or the rounded corners that she has in these molds, they dome really nice. Okay, let's take out this green. Now, you can just keep the pin in these, or you can put the cap back on. That's why she gives you a pin for every one, is in case you want to just keep the pins in there. I'm going to put the cap back on because I will store them in their box. Okay, there we go. There's Apple, which is supposed to be, you know, the emerald. We'll see how dark this is. I think this is a lighter one, but we're just going to play with these today and see what kind of results we can get. Before I forget, I'm going to fill up the rest of this little trinket dish, little ring dish here. That was from yesterday, and I didn't fill it all the way. Let's do the amethyst because that's supposed to be a hot. Oh, I found that long piece of film. Told you it was stuck to something. We'll use it for another one. It's cut up now. Let's get out this purple, the amethyst. Oops. I'll get another pin here. And they will squirt, so that's why I do a paper towel around them. Like that one, squirted. Okay. Let's do some Now what I want to do with this one is I want to get a piece of this textured film out of here, and I'm going to put it in there with that alcohol ink. There's a piece. Oh no, that wasn't the textured one. That's okay. Here's the textured one. Nope. Just want one little piece of it. Probably stuck to me somewhere else. Let's finish. This resin degasses really well, but if you have some stubborn ones, just take These are the wands that she has. Where'd that green go? I think we need more green in this one. Okay, let's try this light blue also. And Fran's resin doesn't have solvents or anything in it. It's the safest epoxy you can get. So I don't worry about not wearing. You guys know I don't anyway because of medical things, but this is really, really safe resin, so I'm not overly concerned. I am gonna put this needs to be trimmed down a little bit. And I'm going to put a piece of this in there with it. We're going to see. Let's do, you know what, let's do the other blue. Oh yeah, that's worded. It's much deeper. Okay. Let's do some more film. This one needs to be cut. Some more in there. Let's see, what other colors do we have here? Guess we can try magenta. I'm also gonna try some deep white. Now this is one I already had. I do have her, this is the exact same. I had a deep white from previously. Okay, what other colors do we have? This goes there. Let's do one. Let's see. We have this orange red. I think we have it open. Now let's see, if I put a little bit of white in it, can we get like a more peachy color? Because that was one of the color trends. I'm only seeing a few bubbles here and there, but they're degassing nicely. Like I said, these dome up really nice. And a lot of it is because of the way she makes her molds. They're almost like pre-domed for you. Just topping these off so we get that nice domed effect on both sides. This one can use a couple drops. Okay, what other colors do we have? We haven't done the yellow. Chicken cats. Cherry red. Let's do cherry red. On the outside, okay. And we only have one more to open, so might as well try the Sunshine Yellow. Let's see. I have enough for, I think, this one right here. And with this one, let's put a piece of grab this magic spatula. Let's see here. We can put a couple drops in there to dome that one up. That one I think is I think we're domed pretty good. Let's see if this back here can take a few more drops. Yeah, because I filled it, but I didn't dome it, so we'll just stick what I have left into there. Okay, that is that. I am going to clean up my mess, put the lid on the curing machine, and get these going. I found that hovering on my desk over here. I'll just stick it into there, get it under the resin. Okay, we are good. See, alcohol ink's gonna move for a little bit. I'll wait a few minutes while I'm putting everything up before I stick the lid on it, but we will be back when it's time to demold and we'll see what kind of results we got. Talk to you soon. Let's see what we have here. The heat mat went off, and let's get this stuff out of the mold. We'll do this one first, since this was a little ring holder that I had started but didn't have enough resin to finish it. So there it is. Just a little ring holder. Nice to put next to your kitchen sink or the bathroom. So when you're washing your hands, you don't do dishes, whatever. Do people still do dishes? I do. We have a dishwasher, but we never use it. Most of the time it's just David and I, and we don't dirty but a plate here and there. When the girls are here, it's just easier to do it as they get done. But there we go. Let's see these. And I got out my jewelry stuff over here. There's that one. Like I said, her molds are super shiny. They're still a little soft. Not terribly, but there we go. There's that red. This would be like a citrine color. And that did have that piece of foil in there. Or not foil, but dicroche film. That one can fly out. There's our blue. That's the darker blue. Here's the lighter blue, like an aqua color. Here's that purple. It also had a piece of that textured dicroche film in there. Here's the green one. And here's the one that had all of the little bits of the blue film in there. So you can see they stayed on top. You'll have different effects depending on which way you put them in. So these were, of course, the bottom of the mold. This was the one that I shoved them all down in there and then poured the resin, so they stayed at the bottom. This one's got some overpour. I gotta cut that off. And it's easy to just cut it off when it's still soft. So this was the one that I put it in. It was on, like, in the center. So you can see that textured dicroche film and then the blue little pieces of the other film. This was that magenta. And then we have the last one here, which was this one, the dicroche film was on the top. I laid it on the top after pouring the resin. This one also, I took off the lid at one point to look at this one because it had two large bubbles. So I took it off and I popped those bubbles. And so we're okay, they didn't come back or anything. But this one had, like, the dicroche film was laid on top, and then you had some of that blue, and then the other dicroche film pieces in there. So this one definitely has a different look to it. So you can see, depending on where you place your film, you get a different look. Now, make these into some type of jewelry. I pulled out the cords. I also have chains. I have my jewelry tools. I have rings, and then I have, like, flat back veils and stuff in here. So let's see. First, let's see what we could do with a ring. Let's see. See, this would be, that would definitely be a large, bulky ring. But hey, why not? So let's trim this up. This one seems to be good. I'm just looking around to make sure there's no pieces that we need to take off. These molds are really nice. You don't have edges. You don't have problems with rough edges or anything like that. The glue I've been using is the Zap-A-Gap. It's really good. I'm really liking it. And I think in one of Fran's videos she actually used this glue. But I'm just gonna brush it on there, and then I'm gonna get this. Actually, I'm gonna do it like this. There you go. Look at that. Shit. Let's see what we can do with the other ones here. Let's get some flat back veils out. Let's see. I'm gonna trim this one up a little bit. These are just flush cutters. They're good for trimming up your resin. This is the one that had a little overpour on it. So I'm just taking those pieces off. Okay, that looks pretty good. Little piece here. Okay. looks good. Let's put a flat back bail on that. Yeah, come here, you. Just stick your finger in it. I'll let that one dry. Let's see. You can definitely put a flat back bail on this one. So. That one set a second. Now, if you want to use a pinch bail, these are thick. You can always pour these much thinner. I do have these large pinch bails. I'm not sure if they will go on these, but let's see. You can pull these open a little more. These are the largest ones I have, and they are large, but these are even thicker. That's like barely gonna fit. Let's see. I need my tools. Let's see if we can get one of these to work, just so you guys could see it. Looks like we can, so. I'm just going to trim this up. Now, if you have sharp edges, you can just take a nail file to it. Where is one of my nail files? Oh, I have a little one here. So you can just take a nail file to your edges if they're rough. These are little sanding sticks. Whoops. Stay. No, don't fall over. These are just little sanding tools right here. And you can take that and just smooth out any of these that are a little sharp or you want to sand down. Now, once you do this, if you take it and you have scuff marks from, actually, let me show you. This is, so if I take this and I really sand down this edge, you're gonna have scuff marks, right? So I'm gonna run this over just so you guys can see this. All right, see all those scuff marks right there? Hopefully you can see that on this color. Michelle from Glitz and Glitter has this new product out. It's called Resin Restore. Stuff's really good. And all you have to do, you don't need hardly any. So, and don't leave this in sunlight because it will become, what is it, solid or sticky? Or, now people that say it's sticky or had said it's sticky, but it's because they're using too much. You saw I just wiped off almost all of that. And then you just go over the back or wherever your scuff marks are. This is more than enough. And now, I see some right over here too where I use the sanding stick. Right there. Just put it on. It dries immediately. And you don't see any more scuff marks in there. Now, that's not to say this, and it's dry already. That's not to say the scuff marks aren't there. It just brings back the color. So, great use, especially if you do sanding. Toasters or whatever, it works on everything. I always keep it in the box. It cannot withhold extreme temperature changes, so just be careful with it. But I've had no problem. So now we're going to use this pinch bail that I've stretched to make it fit. I'm going to grab my little drill here. This is just one from Amazon, very inexpensive. Okay. And now you're going to just put the pinch bail in there. You're going to make sure you're in the hole, and then you're going to take your flat nose here. I need to get this squished in a little more. Hold on. My hands are not working. Sorry, I know I'm not in camera for you guys. I'm just trying to see where my hole is. There we go. I have the front hole in. Now I'm just looking for the back one. Okay. There we go. I got it lined up now. Okay. There we go. Okay. And there is your pinch bail. So now you can put a chain, a cord, whatever you want through it. Let's see, what else? We have these. What other goodies can I find in here? Oh, you can always use the eye hooks like this. I'll show you how these are done. Let's see. I'll take this one right here. All the edges look good and everything. I'm going to grab the biggest eye hook I have out of here. These are just from Amazon. They come boxed like this, and there's various sizes in there. So I'm going to try and find a bigger one. There we go, right like that. Before I spill all these, because I have, and they're not fun to clean up. I am going to take the drill, and you're going to drill through the top. So you're not, basically you're just wanting a pilot hole, right? So there we go. Now take your eye hook and start screwing it in there. Just let the threads catch. Start just twisting it down. When I get down so far, I then put a little bit of glue. That way it doesn't come out. It'll be in there. Just finish screwing it all the way down in. Do one more. All right. Now, the only thing with these is you can see it through if it's clear, right? But with this, you won't see it from the front. Now, if you're going to put a chain or a cord on this, you don't want the eye pin going this direction, because then it would not hang correctly. So turn it sideways like this, right? And then you could put your cord through there. Or if you do have it the other way, you can use a jump ring and then put it through there. But there you go. There's that one. I'm just showing you different ways of using the different types of clasps that you find. I'm trying to see, do I have any other different kinds in here to show you? I don't have two for earrings. These are a bunch of different types of bails. Some of these I don't use. Like this type I don't hardly use. What it is it's like this, and there's a pinch. But what I would do with this, if you want to use them, I don't like the way these are, and they're very hard to deal with, but there is a way you could use them, and it would be something like this. You'd want to take a jump ring and put your jump ring through here. Now again, if you leave it like this, if you figure out how to use it like this, it's the right way for a chain. Putting a jump ring on it just caused you the wrong way. So they're a little more difficult to work with unless you do like this. Let me see if I have a silver one in here, because this, again, we've turned this so it would work for a chain, but let me turn it back a little bit. And then what you could do is put one of these on there. Now these are hard for me because they're not easy to push down. So this one keeps wanting to go back because I did it that way, but let's see. So what you want to do is try and get this to open a little bit and then put it on there, and then you're going to have to bring it back closed. Sorry, I know I'm off camera, but this, like I said, not the easiest to work with, but there you go. So that's an idea to use this type, and that's what I'll start doing because I've got a million of them. So if you just use the screw-in hook like that, and then you can use one of these to put on there. So then it will give you this look. Now, let's see what else. What other kinds? This was like a box of nothing but, like, it was supposed to be all pinch bales. I don't consider some of these pinch bales. Some of them are teeny tiny like this. Those might be good for like a flat earring. But yeah, so I now have this whole box of different types of not all pinch bales. And some of them are sizes that I probably wouldn't even use because they're so teeny tiny. But that is a way to use them right there, is use your screw and then put it on. Let's see. We can do another one like that. Sure, let's bring out the screws again. Now I need a big one. I don't need the teeny tiny ones. That's another thing. These came in a package and they're all mixed up and they are all different sizes. Okay. Oops, wrong thing. I'm just going to trim this off of here. And the rest of it looks good. So same thing. I'm going to take my drill. And I'm going to just start the pilot hole. Okay. Just like that. We're going to take this again. And we're just going to start turning it to get it down in there. When I get it the most of the way in, I'm going to take some glue and put it on those last few threads. And then I'm just going to finish turning it. Okay, and then we can take one of these. Oh, come apart. There we are. Now, we're going to make that go down further. If you hear snoring, that is Miracle the pit bull, my son's dog. Okay, there we are. I got it in now. And then I'm just going to use this and pull that back up so it's closed. Okay. And there we go. Give me a minute, I'll do a few more. We'll come back and we'll finish them off. Okay, we're back. I have all of the findings in. All that's left is for our cords. And I have some chains here that we can do also. I like these because they come individually packed and they're not all in one tangled mess. I get the threader chains for my cat pendant, and yeah, they come in one big bulk and they're always twisted. So I made a couple rings here. There's the other one. So there are some rings. The rest are all pendants. So we can do this style, which is the black cords. So it is going to look like the right side there. That's what it's going to look like. Put that one over here. We can do one with a chain. And I got 24-inch chains. I think these will look pretty on these chains. Only if I can get my hands working. Oh my Lord. This is what takes me forever. Because my hands don't always want to cooperate with me. So there's that one. It's a nice chain. You can use maybe this for, only if you get it through, oh, yeah. So there's that one. Let's see. Those are the rings right there. I'll even put them in the little ring dish. Well, maybe. Let's see. And then what I do is, if this pendant will fit in these bags, I just put them back in the bags until I'm ready to do a market or something. I am done with markets for this year. We start again in March. And I will be back at the Way South markets, which is South Austin. The locations are like 6 miles from our house, so it makes it very convenient. And the booth space is cheap. It's only $35. They do it on Sundays, and they're well known, so it gets good foot traffic. So there's another one on a chain. Let's see. Put this one on the cord. Wrong side. That will not go through the bail. Nope. Now on these, sometimes this that they have here won't go through these bales. So all you got to do, of course I put all my tools away. Hold on. Let me grab my jewelry tools again. That's what I need to do, is just give this a little bit, turn this last piece in a little more. Sorry guys, I know I'm off camera. I'm just trying to get, this is where I struggle, and why I don't do a lot of stuff on camera. You guys don't need to see me struggling. Let's see if I got it now. Yep. I just turn that end piece that goes on just before the cord, I just turn that a little more in, and then they fit just fine. Lord, come on. There we go. We'll just stand these up here. Stand up. Let's see. Do another cord. These go through no problem. There we go. That's that purple one. And pink one. So this will be the same thing. I'm going to need to push that. See, it's that last, I'm going to try and show you. It's this last one right here, but it won't go over. It's just a little bit shy. So what you want to do is you want to take this, let's see if I can get it from this way, and just give it the slightest little bend, turning it more inward, and then it slips right over. There we go. I'll do one more cord. I did have color ones. I have a yellow one left. That's the only one I have left in color. Sometimes I buy the pack of color ones just to have something different. The kids like, you know, kids like the colored ones. and you can match them to your pendants. So there's that one, and then the last one, let's take out another chain. We'll do another chain one. Like I said, these are just from Amazon, and it's a pack of 30 24-inch chains, and you get 30 of them in a pack, and they weren't very expensive. Okay, and here's one on another chain. Now, if you're interested in how I display them, let me see. These aren't my favorite. I bought this great big pack, and honestly, they are not my favorite at all. I usually buy this kind, but these, what I didn't realize is they don't have the adhesive to stick them together. Most of them have adhesive. This one doesn't. So you have to tape it, which just annoys me because why wouldn't they put adhesive on it? Everybody else does. So, and it was a pack of all these different shapes and sizes. There's a lot in there for stud earrings, which I like because I do that. But on these, for necklaces and stuff, let me see what this was called. I have 90 of these things. 90. And all of the ones like this, no adhesive. Now, it doesn't matter on the earring ones because they just have the holes, you know. No big deal. But these, I was like, are you kidding me? So what I do is I loop it together, right? And I have hanging racks, like the retail racks. That's what I have a few of those. And I have displays for necklaces and earrings, and then I have the round, the ones that you can turn in circles for the retail jewelry racks. But because these don't have this, then you have to tape it. But then I hang this on my rack. So that's how I display those. I do the same thing for the chain ones. However, I also do have, it's like the bust, and they're on a stand. And so I display a lot of my ones on chains like that because it looks nice. But if they're going to be on a retail rack, because I don't put out like a million of those busts, but what I do is I will change them throughout the day. Of course, if one sells, you know, then you change it out with another one. Or during, you know, the middle of the day, I'll pick out a different one to put on there. And that was 2. That's the other thing. These are super thin. My other ones weren't like this. And again, I have to tape it so it stays. But then that is how I would hang it on my retail racks. So that's just how I display my stuff at my markets. There are plenty of other ways. I have a, let's see if I can explain this. It's actually used for card makers, and it's a tiered stand. You know, you have all your tiers, and I use that for my stud earrings. I put them in there, and they're really secure in there. Even on windy days, they're good because I just stack enough in there that will stay in that, and then I can display quite a few that way. And I buy the retail racks where the hook comes out and then up, because that way when the wind hits, they can't go flying out. So you want that little L on the end. I've been doing markets for a long time, so I've kind of got it where I know how to display different items for, you know, wind, because it's always windy in Texas. So there are just certain things that I buy. Even I have little turn racks that I can set on the tables. Even those have the bracket that goes up at the end. What else? Oh, I always get a 10 by 10 space, my son and I, and he helps me because I have mobility issues. So he loads up the car and he unloads everything, and he sits there with me all day long, which is really nice to have company. But we got for the tables, because I have a 6-foot table and a 4-foot table. My 4-foot table is usually my $3 table. So all of my stuff on that table is $3, and then I divide the other table up into sections for prices. But I got a shoe rack, and it's one of those that you put together, and it's got like the fabric across each tier, and that is how I display all my skulls. I set that on the table, and then the skulls that I display are very heavy, so it's not going anywhere. It doesn't waver in the wind at all with all those skulls on it. What else can I tell you guys for markets? You know, indoor markets, you don't have these problems, but most of the markets here in Austin are all outdoor. It's hard to find indoor. So my son did buy a big 10 by 10 canopy, and it's one of those that one person can set up because of course I'm no help. So it's a real simple one. He got it at Academy, and we didn't get sides for it. We haven't needed the sides. What other display things can I recommend to you? Oh, for my trays, I got bamboo. They're like for in your cupboards to set your pots and pans in. I get the bamboo ones. They're nice looking wood, and that's how I put my trays out. So they're not sitting flat on a table. I sit a few flat, but then I stack them in that dish. I think it's actually for dishes or pots or something, but they're bamboo racks that I can put all the trays in so that they're sitting up. People can see each one. And what else do I have that's easy for displays? I do beaded pins. I've done a tutorial on that, and I have the pin racks, the rotating pin racks that I display those in. And my son and I do what's we call packing up for the next market. And what that means is I have a purple foot locker that a lot of my stuff goes in, and then I have a great big, I don't even know how big it is, it's huge, that it's like a black Rubbermaid with a nice top on it, that all of my trays and stuff get stacked in. But what we do is we take, this is how you set up the first time and then pack after that. All right. So what we do is the first time that we displayed everything, we had it all on the racks. We don't take that stuff off our racks. We put the rack, the table size ones, we put all those back with everything in it. That way at your next event, you're just pulling out racks and setting it on a table. Now we can't do that with the retail style racks. So what we do is we like rubber band the each peg, rubber band them together. That way the next time your holes are lined up, you can just put them on and take off your rubber bands. It's the fastest way that we found. Everybody's amazed when we do it because we can set up a bunch like very quickly. Basically we put together the shoe rack and put out all the skulls on it. We take racks out of the bins and set them on the tables. And then for the retail tall racks, they're like 5 foot tall, almost 6 feet tall, some of them. And we just hang and take off the rubber band, hang and take off the rubber band. So that's how we do it. My son's been doing this with me. When my sons were young, I did craft shows during the holidays so that I had money for, my kids' presents, because I was a single mother of 2 boys. So they are used to doing. The one lady beside us the one time, she saw what we were doing and she's like, I can't believe that's how you guys pack and set up. She goes, that's genius. And my son said, yeah, I've been doing this since I was like 10 years old with my mom. We've learned the ways. And it is true, we have. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this little jewelry tutorial with little windows and how to display and set up at a market. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.